Welcome to this 1900 early start for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 19th of July 1901, which is about 8 months on from the end of the last part, simply because all I've been doing has been trying to push through and get all these gravel roads built so that we can actually start to get to pull our town together. Now, in this part, I've got quite a few things to do, but first I just want to give you a bit of an update, especially with respect to the fact that we've had our first earthquake. And what you'll see is we've had an earthquake in Cowes of 6.0. Now, it didn't do any damage simply because if I come down to here, this is where the earthquake actually happened. And this is a bit of a fringe benefit that you can get if you play on a map that's already got pre-built towns on it. You can see the earthquake hit in this area, and because these buildings haven't actually been kind of powered, there's no actual damage to them at all. And it's worth being aware that if you play on a map like this that's got pre-built towns, even if they're relatively small towns, the risk of being your starter town being hit with an earthquake is relatively low. But of course, the converse is also very true in the sense that if you start on an empty map and build your first town, that means that the chance of being hit by an earthquake is relatively high. Now, what I'm going to do is come over here and give you an update about what's going on in this area, because this progress in this area has been painfully slow, and that's putting it quite mildly. And of course, part of the problem I've got now is if I come into here and we look at reconstruction offices, you see that I got no more. I've used up all my construction offices. So what I want to do in this part is remedy that, plus the fact that I do need to start modernizing the various systems. And if you watch the previous part, you'll be aware that I was talking about vehicle maintenance. And what we're going to do is start off in this area, and we're going to kind of solve two problems with one solution. That is building maintenance, because again, if I show you here now, the building maintenance at the moment is minimal, and it's only up related to the horse feeding station here and a water substation, which is there. And you can see this one has only been built a few months, and it's already got 1% wear and tear. So wear and tear starts the moment something is built. This is the reason why I've been delaying actually finishing off any buildings. That also reduces the risk of fire. But of course, I can't put it off forever. And the other thing I'll show you as well, if we come to vehicle wear and tear, you'll see that I'm now starting to get a reasonable level of wear and tear on some of my vehicles. So it's only a matter of time before they start breaking down. So now the vehicle maintenance I can't do that much about, but we can start to plan for our building maintenance. And at the same time, it will also mean that we can start getting rid of some of these kind of free construction offices. And what we're going to do is start by building an area here. We're going to use this building here. It's called a small barn. It's fairly intense on resources. You can see it needs 21 tons of bricks, 7 tons of boards, 17 tons of concrete, and 2.7. But the nice thing about these buildings is the fact that these will last this town throughout the game. So what we're going to do is start by putting in, I'm going to give it a little bit of space. And this one will have a mud road like that. And then on this side, what I want, then what we're going to do is build another one. I mean, we don't have to build both of these at the same time. One will be good enough to begin with. So again, we'll just come back to here. And one thing about these is they don't actually have much in the way of collision. So I can do something like that. So they're kind of back to back. Now, the next thing I actually want is a vehicle depot. And we're actually going to build a proper vehicle depot. Let me just see. Depots. Bus station, small, trolley bus depot, road vehicle depot. So Obviously, the in-game default one is there. That one's 13 slots. It's probably way too big. Yes. What I'm going to do is we're going to flip that the other way, and I'm going to try and tuck you in. I want enough space for a road, so I'm going to put you about. Hopefully this is going to work. And of course, if you watch the previous videos, I've already mentioned what we need is a repair bay, vehicle repair station, and we're going to put the horse veterinarian in. There might not be enough space there. So actually, I think what we'll do is, now I've got that kind of marked out, we will find the horse veterinarian again. I'm not going to push that up. Actually, I could come in from the right hand side. I want to keep the options open for the moment. So I think if I put you about, kind of open up the slot there, and then we will, this will have to be a gravel road down to there. And then what I will do is, where's that road vehicle depot? So I could put that there, but it's not, it doesn't really fit. Oh, I need to get rid of that, because we're doing a little bit of keyhole surgery here. And I think I can just slip that. If I can get that in really close like that. Again, we're just going to use a mud road in here. I think we can live forever for. We can't place the horse converter thing, but just to show you how that will work, if I find a feeding station, so if we go to mods, put horse in, if I find a horse feeding station, so we can, by doing this, we could probably put one this side, but more importantly, I can put one out this side. What this will be is the horse feed converters, which at the moment are locked behind semiconductors. And what that will do is provide the resources to the veterinarian thing. Now, the other thing also is that eventually what we will do is, just as an example, is once we get the distribution offices, I mean, at the moment we can't do it, but we eventually will put distribution offices round the top here. And what that will mean is that this building here will maintain the vehicles in these two buildings here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign, we need this, well, we need this built, but more importantly, we want this built. So, and what we're going to do is make that high priority, and it must have speed the game up. Actually, it's not doing anything. And we want this high priority as well. And what we're going to do is and we're actually going to build this one here. And what this will become is our one to begin with will become our, how can I explain it? One will become our ground crew, the other one will be our finishing crew, but this will be our ground crew. By ground crew, I mean that what will happen is they will build this level here, although the things are moving forward quite well in this area. And then eventually the other one will become, the second one will become our finishing crew. Now, so that's that one there. Now, the next thing I would like to do is start thinking about from the fuel perspective, because what we've got here is we've got this feeding station, and of course this is all right, but eventually we're going to have buildings in this area that are going to have trucks like the fire station, which is over here. So what I want to do is start work on a feeding station. I think trouble is I want to keep this, for a full-size gas station eventually, which I don't think we can build at the moment. We've got this gas station. How much people can we get into this? Now, the problem with a gas station is if we put this down, it won't work until we got power. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put as a temporary... got to be careful because I want to use that space there. I think what we will do is we'll put a gas station here, a free one, and we will also go back to the horses and we will put a free horse feeding station here, which doesn't need power. So what we will do is, again, I'm just going to shove that up the priority list, get something working on there. This one we can get our distribution office. Where are you? And we will add you to there. But what I am going to do is only put a very small amount of fuel in there for the moment. I don't know how long this is actually going to last. Now, the next problem we've got is something I've been kind of avoiding, is we need to put in a power supply. So now, because we got our hydroelectric power station here, this has got an 8 megawatt break off. So the first thing we're going to need to do is put in I want to put in a high substation here. I'm just going to tuck you in about there. Oh great, got no construct. Okay, we're going to have to try and squeeze things in. I'm trying to avoid having to level. So we got this in here now. Now the reason I'm putting a high power in, not the fact that we're going to have to distribute much power, because of course our maximum capacity we're going to have is 8 megawatts, which is going to go to there, like that. But the reason I want this is that eventually this will be our backup power supply for the rest of the game. Eventually we will be bringing in supplementary power connection to this area here. So this would act as a, so once we're generating more power, which will probably be down around Southampton, although we may still have to be using hydropower, but we will want to connect this up so that if things go wrong, we can still provide power to this area. So that's the long-term thinking. Now the next thing I want to do is we're going to come here, and I think we're going to put this here like that. Again, we're just going to use a mud road because this is infrastructure, and it's going to be close enough to the fire station, which would be there. And again, what I'm going to do is come here, 8 megawatts, and you can that will give us that connection to there. What this will be the substation that's going to drive our area here. Now this will provide power to this local area here, but you can see it won't provide that power to everything. Not exactly too sure why the I think the reason that this is not covered, if we come into here, what we've got to get to is the center. Yeah, I think that we're going to have to cover these buildings because this area, so we got direct power coverage from the actual from the hydro plant, but we're going to need to provide power into here. Now this first one we're going to place, I think I would like a certain amount of overlap, but more importantly I also I need to think about something first. Sorry about this. We need to think about waste, because I don't want the trucks. I don't know why I keep pausing. I don't. When we start waste collection, which is going to be another big issue, I don't want the waste trucks going to wherever we're going to put things. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put a waste transfer, a big waste transfer office there. You can see this is actually going to need power as well, but I want you far enough away so there's no pollution. So we're going to put you there. Again, we won't need a fancy road. Oh, great. It's this thing that's in the way. Let me just see. Can I get rid of you? Can you? Yeah, you will connect now. And of course, what we will do is use a cargo. Get rid of that. We will use a cargo station. If I put you there, and of course, one thing we are going to need now is a technical office. So many things to think of. Where is it? We got 13. We got 8. Oh, wow, that's a monster. I don't want to go too far that way, and I don't. Where are we going to put this then? That's going to be a bit of a problem. Actually, I think what I might do is if I put you there behind here, say like that. This is really big. Oh, that's even bigger. These are monster buildings. Doesn't really fit with what I want to do, but we've got a small technical office here. See, this provides 8, this provides 6, and this provides 4, this provides 8. This is a wood technical office. I have used this before. It'd be nice to put you there, actually. I think what we will do is we're going to put you there. Yeah, I'm just going to use it. I don't like the big ones. It doesn't fit with the theme of what I'm trying to do here. I think if I can tilt you a little bit like that. Wow, that's a very, very small connection. If I put you there, I should still be able to take a road off of here to give access to the distribution offices. Yeah, we're going to put the distribution office there. It's a little bit closer than I would have liked, but the river's in the way. I mean, eventually we could tear it down and use it for other things if necessary. So this can get power from there, so we don't need to worry about that. And this will have a certain degree of power into this area up to about there. That means that the substation that I was planning needs to be, part of me says overlap slightly, because we are going to get a bit of a, I think if you will go to there. I think if I can come up one here, okay, we're just going to put, I need to cover that. So we got that there. Let me just see. We got to cover the heating plant and the woodcutter's post. So that's going to be there. And we're just going to hook you into there. Now we've got a bit of a problem in the sense that we need the modern electric pylons to get this one, which will give us 2.35. And just to show you the research, what that means is that we will have to come down here. This is quite a key one. We've got to research this, but this is not available until 1934. But there is a way around this, which I quite like, actually. Mainly because, one, it's partly aesthetic, and two, it gives us the full power to this terminal. And that is, if we come into here, what we've got here is we've actually got two power cables, so, and they're underground. And personally, this is something that I quite like, simply because these underground power cables actually kind of, for a really early start, it makes the place look right. You can also see that it actually needs less resources to build. So that's the 1.85, and then what we're going to do is put in the 0.65. The downside is that these underground power cables, we need two of them. Okay, why have you got to go around there? Why? There's infrastructure in the way, probably because the footpath is there. So that will be our first power connection to there. Now what that should give us is, that will give us most of the, see, to begin with, that will cover virtually the whole town. The only part that will have a problem is out here. So what we're going to have to do is now extend out again here to here. My instinct, that. So what we're going to have to do is push out again here, which isn't such a bad thing, but it will mean that we will have a little bit of a complication here. If I can come back as far as I can and say build the, so we're going to need a second one here. This isn't as big of a disaster as it first appears. In fact, if I put you on that side there, because I've got a plan for here, which I'll be talking about in a little while. And of course, what we're going to have to do now is go underground again. And this one, I think, I'll begin with, don't like that. Remove. It's this pipeline here. If we press Q, nice thing about power cables is that they will be a little bit more obliging. I think I will put the and you're gonna have to move around the top like that as well. It's gonna make this place look very, very messy, but so we need to build those two substations into there. And what we, and really to build those underground pipe, because we've got to remember is we've still got all the pipe work to build under here as well. Is this connected? Yeah. Actually, let me just check something. No, that doesn't need power. This might though. Let me just see. No. So we're okay. But you can see now we've already used up kind of 4 of our power connectors. So we've only got 2 left. And then so that means we're probably going to need to build another one of these substations. So So we've now got this built here. We've got the power out to there. We've got power to there. So we've got power through the main part of our little town here, which is going to keep things going. There's a good chance that these will be overpowered, overloaded. So we will need to put overlapping power stage supplies in. So the next thing I want to think a little bit about is, I don't know why I keep pausing. I'm not actually sure why. Is I need to start thinking about the long-term development of the town now. And that is in the sense of the fact that we are going to need crime relatively early. And that also means that we will need to build, from a crime perspective, that means we are going to need a police station, a courthouse, and also a prison. We've got a historic prison here, which is probably good enough to start with. And what I'm thinking, and this is where I want to plan out a road that will go round here. So what I'm thinking is we're going to need a kind of, now I'm going to put the police station in, but that's only mainly for, oh wow, don't want that. I want to use this. Again, it's going to be in keeping with the kind of the town that we want to build. I think my instinct is we could, that fits. So if I put you there, and then I put you there, you're being linked in with all that. Yeah, I think that will fit really nicely. So we're going to put you there, but we're not going to build the road. That will give us the road connection. That will mean that when we research secret police, there is a building that's equivalent to this, which we could put there. That means we can bring a road out round here, down to here, almost following this tree line. And this will give us this little corner here, which we can then fit things into. I think that will work quite nicely, actually. How are we doing? How's this going? Right. We've nearly finished the groundworks. And here, I say, we don't want the vehicle depot built yet. We will need to build this. This needs concrete, asphalt, 22 tons of bricks. It says it's a wood garbage office, but it's really just a technical office. We don't need this built. Again, the big factor at the moment is the roads. Now, we've got a road crew here, but I'm kind of, part of me says that this isn't really a road crew. I would like what we call it, because I think I'd like to do is kind of possibly start thinking about bringing down. We've got a free depot. We've got these guys sat here doing nothing. I'm a little bit worried about these kind of sat around doing nothing. I really would like to get a road crew down here. Let me just see, construction office wise, we could build a barn out here. Put it there. And then we could use that as a road crew. Have we got anything better and cheaper to build? We've got a medium log construction office there, but that's only 6. Oops. Let me just come here. We got a tiny construction office V3. These are quite interesting, and they can serve a very good purpose. You can see they're very cheap to build, but they've only got slots for 7 vehicles. Although technically, I mean, to be honest, small construction office 6. I still like the barn, but maybe if I go, it says a long construction office here. The reason this says a long construction office is that if I show you that one, this is one that can accommodate the longer vehicles. I think what I am going to do is we're going to go for this one here. It can hold 7 vehicles and it can get a fuel delivery. So what we're going to do is just shove you there. Again, we're just going to have a road there, and what we're going to do is give you high priority. Oops, can't build that. We're going to get that built, and this will become, let me just name this, got to get into the habit of call you road crew. And then what we'll do, again, as I say, I've got to get into the habit of naming things so that it makes, so we're going to call you Eastleigh ground crew. And we're going to call you Eastleigh maintenance there, and we will call you Eastleigh garbage collection. So we need to get this little enclave built. The rest of the depot isn't quite so important. We've got some fuel in here now. We'll build this up, get this done, so that we can get this operational, which means that the vehicles operating in this area, because which will be predominantly horse-drawn to begin with, but eventually we will need to address it and get things going. What we got here, missing resource concrete. Yeah, we need more concrete vehicles, but I'm in this dilemma where we've got that. I think, trying to think, this bridge is there going to be any traction in actually demolishing this bridge? Actually, I think what I might be able to do, if we remove that road there for the moment and just put you there for the moment, because we will remove this, but I'm not, it's not exactly. Oh, what are you? What are you? Where have you just? Oh, you're working on the sewage discharge. I forgot all about you. You're down here. This is nearly finished, actually. Good. But we've still got the underground pipes. So, I mean, the pace we're going was probably going to be at least another year before we can start moving anyone in. And that does have its risks and implications. One thing I did do is put in the obelisk. But what I'm thinking is that if I can get some space here, we can start kind of using distribution offices to bring down resources to here, so that this construction office here, ground crew here, won't actually have to come quite so far. This also applies to the road crew here. So at the same time, I don't really want to get into, how can you put it, I don't want to get into having too much infrastructure down here at the moment. So we're gonna come to here, aggregate, where's the, what I'm gonna do is, if I could get a free aggregate store in about there. Again, we're just gonna have to try and plan this ahead. I put that around that way. Get you there. We don't need that. We'll just put a scruffy little mud road in there. I could put an open store here. Can we get a free open store? Trouble is, these don't really store that much. I could put you there, and then we could bring the stuff down to here. Yeah, we've put the power in now anyway, so this is a little bit of a free zone. And I'd say we can tidy this up later on, because we will set this to what would we need it for. I think we're going to go, actually I'm going to do it, we'll start 20%. We are going to need prefabs because we're going to need it to build the sewage. Right, let me just adjust these now. We're only going to need about 19 tons of boards. So we got steel, prefabs, bricks and boards here, which I think is about everything. Yeah, prefabs, bricks, boards and steels, old opera house. Yeah, so the trouble is we need so many bricks. What's how much we're going to need in the way of prefab? Gravel boards. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is bricks are going to be the problem. But I think if we can get some steel down here and some prefabs eventually, what I will do is I need some more space here somehow. I'm trying to think, where can I put? I think what I can do, this area is a little bit cluttered up, but we should be able to get a free distribution office. I wedge you in there. Yeah, look at that. Great. And what we're going to buy here, workshop. I haven't really checked recently whether we've actually got any new vehicles. I doubt it, but and we're going to get the heavy steam haulers. We're going to get 1, 2, 3 of those. Let them get into the here, and then we're going to use that. Actually, I think we'll just get that done. While this is going on, we will go over to here and see how things are going here. Very, very slowly. Can almost go to sleep here watching this. I think what I'm going to have to do is, and as I say, the limiting factor is that we don't have the construction offices. And you can see here at the moment we've got a free depot. I could buy a, we could possibly push through another road. The trouble is, where would we push the road through? I think if I buy another bulldozer in the form of a thoroughbred, and then what I could be able to do, they're going to have to go all the way around here, but we might be able to accelerate the process by doing that. Will you guys auto detect that, or will I have to? I think we're just, there's no construction path. You should have a construction path. Why can't you? Oh, because I broke the road connection here. Let me just see. Yeah, I broke the road connection here to stop accidental allocation to there. In fact, I think what we will do is we will just extend this road out and put you guys on that. I think I've just made this into one big road. Oh, great. Game, you're being helpful when I don't want you to be helpful. Just going to tidy up you, and the you. Well, I do want this road gravelled in. So you can go there, you can go there. Yeah, I've reset this road, but that's okay, because this is going to take a little bit of time to build into there. Right, back to Eastleigh North. What are we actually getting in the way of messages at the moment? Okay. We've had a new, this arrived on the 3rd of September 1901. We've got a motor schooner tanker. Global market report, yeah, thank you, game. Yeah, what we're getting is ships arriving. Oh, we got a Stanley steamer. I think this might count as a police vehicle. We'll just see that. Yeah, so we got a whole load of motor schooners have arrived. We've now got a new Stanley steamer. Let's just see what we can get. How that's actually, that will be any use for us. If we look under police cars, it's certainly not counting as a police car. Of course, we don't have the secret police, so it's probably going to be under personal car at the moment. So it's really only for personal transport. But there's a possibility that that will be used for secret police. How fast does it go? And more importantly, how long does it last? This goes to 1961. It's got a top speed of 45 kilometers an hour. So if that is possible for the secret police, then that could be useful. Anyway, so I'm kind of how can you put it? Running out of things to do. Let me just check. I do have a list that says building maintenance, crime and court and prison. Yeah, I've talked about that. Vehicle maintenance. Let me just see. Right, guys, your job is to pick up from there bricks and prefabs and boards, and your job is to deliver them all to here. So there's no point. We can get these going down this way. This is now ready. We can say there's store gravel in there, and technically what we need is another we can get rid of these road crews. The depot, so we got a vehicle here doing nothing at the moment, so I think what we can do, we might as well use him. So I think I'm just going to put a distribution office in here, so because we're getting through the distribution offices quite quickly as well. So if I send you to there and buy a I'm actually going to borrow you in there. Not there, sorry. Put you into there, sorry. Load, gravel. Okay, we'll set it to about 60%. And what that will do is we'll be able to start pulling down, shortening that distance for our construction crews. And what that will do is start to speed up overall. And of course, we've only got the one drop-off point here, which doesn't help matters very much. But we are delivering more and more steel here, which is the ones that have got. See, I can't really see the point of. I mean, their base is up here. There's no point in them picking up from here. So we're just going to fill this up, ready for. Can you push this through, please? See if we can get you through. I suppose you could become a little bit more efficient. I think we will assign you to here. Near the omnibus, you're a covered hole, and we got the cement guy here as well. So you should start to kind of making a bit more of a contribution to this. We definitely, this is the key, this building here, and we can get that actually built, and if we can get this in working to here, you guys can really start pushing through with as the ground crew and our construction crew, because we are getting very close now. And as I say, what I do need is this lot built. At the moment we're not actually building this at the moment, because there's no point building buildings until we've got the infrastructure done, and of course more importantly the roads network done. If we can get this built out to here, we can start building in this infrastructure. The rest of the roads and footpaths around here aren't particularly that high priority. As I say, and we can get the ground crew here. That's pre-built. That needs a little bit more work done on it by the look of it. Of course, we've got, as I say, right, we finally finished this. This is great. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now get this guy working on that. But really, to build these, we need cranes. You know, to get this, especially when we get to the prefab stage. So maybe we do need to look a little bit about what our crane options are. The alternative is, and it's going to be a bit cumbersome, is a assemblable crane here, which can add some difference to, because the road cranes are 3 and 3. The assemblable tower crane here gives us a 12. Maybe if we can use that. The thing is, we're just going to be very careful about choosing the open hole that will carry it. But I think if we get an assemblable crane into here, that will speed up the building process. So that is something that we do need to look at. Right, I'm aware that I'm running out of time on this video, and I'm also running out of things to say, because as you're probably guessing, that I really need to catch up on a lot of this building for things to make sense going forward, because we really do need to get all this work done. There's so much to do at the moment that we do need to kind of get sorted out. And of course, the problem is the actual speed, and say we're only on 1901. So I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. What I will do is actually push through to the spring of 1902, so that when we actually, simply so that we'll have something more to work on and talk about in the next part. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.